Welcome to the typical Skeptic podcast, where we dive deep, you decide. Questioning the matrix from UFOs, where the shadows unknown reside. Robert Kalil busting myths like ghosts in the night. Paranormal pros, secret space ops, yo, we keep it real, no fright. Typical skeptical seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Aliens, Anunnaki, black ops in disguise. From abductions to ancient scripts, we flip the script wide. TSP style, mile after mile, truth can't hide. Hold up, TSP crew assemble, we dismantle the fable. My lab's targeted souls breaking out of the stable. Darwin, Howlin', Bigfoot, prowling, cryptids in the mist. Mandela Effects, twisting reality, can't resist the twist. Soul trap, snapping, reincarnation mapping, holographic dreams, near-death visions, out-of-body missions, waking up the teams. No censorship here, we fear no elite scheme. Conspiracy kings ringing bells, hear the freedom ring. The skeptical seeking, never sleeping on the lies. Extraterrestrials, interdimensional highs. Welcome to the typical Skeptic podcast, where we dive deep, you decide.
I'm trying to get this to work. It's not working. Unbelievable, man. Hey, Ken, can you hear me? I don't know what's going on here. Let me use my phone. This is so fucked up, man. I hate Stream. I'm getting rid of StreamYard as soon as possible. I swear to God. Hey,
can you hear me, Ken? Yeah, I can. Where's Ken? Ken, are you there? What the fuck is going on? It says he's on stage. Okay, hey guys. Welcome to the Typical Skeptic podcast. We have an awesome show today. We have my good friend Ken from the We Are One podcast, and it's gonna be a fun show. And Charles Harris, are you really for real? I'm going to put this comment up on the screen. It's just to show you how crazy people are. Charles Harris, I'm calling you out, dude. I'm calling you out for real. Not digging the background music with MK Ultra mind control signals in it. Okay, dude. Okay. Well, then go somewhere else because I don't really care, honestly. Because you're obnoxious. Okay. Sorry, I'm not being mean. I'm just being realistic. Ken, can you hear me? Hello, Ken.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. You are. You're on delay, but yep.
I have you on my phone because of my kid. This whole thing. I'm so sick of StreamYard, dude. I'm having a rough day, to be honest. I mean, like, what's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, I tried to connect mine to all the stuff that I had in the banners and the comments and things like that. It's not linking either.
What's that? Oh yeah, hold on. I gotta put the layout too. The layout's messed up. Yeah, I can hear you. The layout, everything's messed up in StreamYard today. Like everything. Like it's like I can't use this program anymore. I gotta hold on, there we go. That's better. You know. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I just got to get rid of this program. I really do. Dawn Price, thank you. You're sending me love and prayers, positive energy. Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the loyal people and loyal fans. You guys are great. You guys are my family. You know, everything's fine, guys. I'm just so sick of StreamYard, and I'm sick of like the bullshit that I have to go through on a daily basis. But like, you know, I love doing this. I really do. Jason says, learn up. Yes, you're right. Yeah. And sorry, Charles Harris. I wasn't trying to be mean, man. If you're still in the comments, like,
it's lagging also.
Yeah. Let me see if I can log on from my computer, Ken, and then this will be better. Dude, this is crazy, man. You know, like honestly, like it's like, let me see here. Here, I'm coming in on my computer.
You want me to send you a link for mine? Oh, I'm in the show. But nobody else is. Can you guys hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me.
My camera's on.
Hello, testing 1, 2, 3.
We're good.
Back in here.
What's going on, man? My
OBS.
camera's all blurry.
All right, and we got some
Turn
ones.
it off, man.
Trying to me a psychic duck t-shirt. All right, cool. You guys got it. My sound is kind of low. Let me see if I can up it. Is there a way to up this thing? Probably. Let's see. Audio. Testing. Maybe you should run on the stupid thing. Testing. Is that better? Man, this thing is lagging too.
Can you hear me?
All right, cool.
I turned off my camera so we wouldn't
Should be
lag
good.
much, you know?
Hopefully we don't lag too much.
So what's going? Oh, let me do a proper introduction.
Yeah, yours is pretty low.
Yeah, I'll do a proper introduction. So guys, today we're going to be talking about CIA Black Ops projects. Today I have with me my good friend Ken Villei from the We Are One podcast, and I got to meet Ken in person. And a lot of you guys don't know that. So, you know, Ken came to the first or second day of the Full Disclosure Now conference, and we got to hang out. We hung out, I think we hung out 2 times, yeah. And Ken's awesome. He's just as awesome in person as he is as you see on camera. He really is cool as hell, you know. But today, Ken wanted to talk about CIA Black Ops and CIA programs. We're going to be getting into like CIA ops, timelines, and simulation, Northwoods, Looking Glass, Inside Black projects, and I wrote a little thing. Ken's a reality researcher. He researches Mandela Effects, simulation tells, timeline bleed-throughs, ops, media control, social engineering, narrative warfare, and we're going to be getting into all the different CIA programs from MK Ultra to MK Often to Artichoke, Bluebird, Stargate, Operation Paperclip, Operation Northwoods, Operation Chaos, Project Looking Glass, Project Bluebeam, Operation Fishbowl, Manhattan Project Legacies, and we'll maybe get into some Mandela Effects, simulation tells, and timeline bleed-throughs. And with all that said, I'd like to give him a big and a little bit more about my guest. Ken is a reality researcher and the host of the We Are One podcast. He explores Mandela Effects, simulation theory, timeline anomalies. He investigates how clandestine programs and information operations may shape our perception, memory, and conscious reality. And with all that said, I'd like to give him a big warm welcome back to the show. Ken, thanks so much for coming back on, man. How are you? What happened?
You're glitching on my end, man. But let me see. I'm gonna say something from what I had written down on my StreamYard, because it's possible that the opening up those two windows are messing it up. But hey, I just wanted to say appreciate it, Rob. I'm streaming on my channel too in case it glitches. But basically, wanted to talk today about operations and projects. I did a talk with a lady named Amy Elizabeth, who's a flight attendant for some of the elites. She's a private flight attendant, and she got me going a little bit on some of these, the etymology of projects or projection. And I started looking at all the operations and the projections. So real quick, let's go through what an operation is and what a project is. So a lot of projects for the CIA, for the government, and a lot of operations. Operations tend to be covert military actions. The goal of the operation is or may not be unclassified. It could also be used to overthrow leadership of a nation or another influence, or to change policy in a global or domestic arena. This can be done many years in advance to instill a new way of life, a collective consciousness, or an adaptation of cultural pressures into the global and domestic landscape. So basically, operations are things that actually happen, military operations, whereas projects, what Amy was talking about was the projection or programming initiatives of a research or functional nature. Projects, CIA and government-wise, are a collective initiative meant to change culture and perspectives of U.S. citizens and those around the world. So I'm gonna close this out so I can just get rid of that. Maybe that'll help us out here a little bit. But to sum that up, basically, everyone's heard of like Project Bluebeam, Project Mockingbird, Operation Paperclip, Operation Northwoods. So these are different things. Why did the government name them differently? And so we'll talk about that today.
Yeah. What did she say? I'm looking forward to interviewing Amy. What did she say when you interviewed? Like, what was she talking about?
She has a very interesting like pattern recognition in words. So like she'll see words and she'll talk about the etymology of them and what they mean and to her, and how they reference the actual meaning of what they are. So what I mean by that, long-windedly, is the Project Mockingbird or Project Bluebeam. They're projects. We tend to just say them, Project Bluebeam, and we're like, well, that's just the what they call it. But the project part of that is trying to get the consciousness and the culture or way of life to manifest into that. So they're trying to make these projects or projections in this holographic universe, trying to make them projections.
Like trying to make them manifest into our reality, right?
What's that?
Try to make them manifest into our reality, right?
Exactly. So they're projections, whereas an operation is like, let's go do this, let's overthrow this, whereas the objectives will be kind of simple, but the long-term objective will be something that we don't understand or we don't know, whether it be to change the culture, whether it be to make one world government, whether it be to instill people in power. No matter what it is, those are operational aspects of those military operations that change the landscape of the world.
Yeah. So for example, like Operation Northwoods was to get us into Vietnam, for example. But whereas like a Project Bluebeam is a projection that they want us to manifest into our reality, you're saying. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So yeah, so they're a little bit different in how we look at them and how we do. I'm trying to pull up this thing on my phone. I'm sorry, guys. 1 second. I had it on my screen, but I think I texted it to you as well. So yeah, so the operation will be like a military covert thing, whereas the projects, why do they call them projects? I guess is the main idea of this theme. Why are they calling the Manhattan Project or MK Ultra Project, Project Artichoke, turns into Project Bluebird, turns into MK Ultra. So why do they call them projects? And the main reason, just to give the overlay term again, would be to manifest this collective consciousness into making that a reality.
Wow. Yeah, and have they succeeded with some of them? What do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of these things have been going around since the Manhattan Project, which was to do the nuclear bomb, to beat Russia for the nuclear bomb, whatever. So some of the projects are not exactly known to us. What the overall goal would be. Some of the goals are going to be long term, and some of the goals will be immediately in the operative language of the operation. MK Ultra, there's so much that goes into MK Ultra and Project Artichoke. I didn't even know about Project Artichoke and Project Bluebird until today. I've heard of them, but I didn't know they were the same thing. Why they've meshed those projects together, I don't know. We can talk about that today. I'm hoping some of the audience can fill us in. I'm certainly not an expert in these things. I just think it's very interesting to talk about, the actual the manifestation and what they want us to make happen.
Yeah, I agree. And 1 second. Jason says here, even stuff that they admitted to is often sick, like gassing our own people and stuff like that.
Yep. So the Manhattan Project was a research and development program undertaken during World War II to produce the first nuclear weapons. So that kind of leads into, and again, that can be the cover story for what they're trying to tell us what it is. They don't often let us know what these things are when they're doing them. A lot of them are conspiracy theory, which if you ask ChatGPT, some of these things, almost all of the operations and projects were considered conspiracies at the time. And then later, they get to telling us, oh, well, we'll disclose some of this. We will, we'll give some of the information out. And then they'll also control the operation and control the narrative by these things on Netflix, like Oppenheimer, and tell the story of those kind of things. They won't tell you the entire detail, obviously, but they will tell you what they had written down as far as the operative is concerned and what they really wanted to do with it.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, let me see here. So which one did you want to get into first? Like, which one did you want to kind of cover? What do you think we should kind of get into?
So I think this is really cool. Also, if you look up, everybody can look this up when they get time or whatever. There's an Alliance for Human Research Protection. Let's talk about Project Bluebird first, because I think it's the predecessor to CIA mind control. And it also is the predecessor to MK Ultra, which, in my opinion, is prevalent everywhere, and also potentially wireless tech into downloading thoughts or giving people ideas, causing people to become crazy, all that kind of stuff. So on this website's called AHRP, which is Alliance for Human Research Protection. AHRP. There are a number of different tabs up there. It has the tabs of medical ethics. It has the tab of eugenics or bioethics. It has the tab for corrupted science. And it has the tab for medical atrocities and current controversies. Also, vaccines is in there as well. So there's some things you can look on the site about what those certain subcategories are. It says the CIA document indicated that Bluebird material was not fit for public consumption, which again means they don't want to tell us anything. They did these behavioral modification techniques on American POWs that returned from the Korean captivity. They included experimental drugs, hypnosis, and special interrogation techniques. Basically, it's a euphemism for torture. The Bethesda Naval Hospital, Walter Reed, Valley Forge, and PA is the CIA's quest to basically do mind control on them or whatever their directive was for that.
Wow. Yeah. That's insane. They've been doing this and they've been like, yeah, like, what do you think? What do you think they're working on like now? If you had to guess, like, would you think they'll ever let us know? Or they're always ahead of like what they're doing?
It's gonna be ahead of the game. So I had this thought as I was texting you about this show or doing a show talking about the kind of this stuff. I had a real big thought of, they like to do the mind control stuff or bleeding thoughts into our reality. But what I think, and maybe I'm the first one to say this, I don't know if it's my idea or not, but I'm the first one that I thought about saying this. I really think that it's potential that the wireless techniques or the wireless activity towers that we have now, the 5G, 6G towers, I think it's potential energy. I don't think it's just wireless, but I think that energy and the wireless communication stuff is definitely going to ramp up here. I've heard 5G, 6G, those wireless things will take over. But what I'm going at with this is you see a lot of AI and singularity projections and potentially even, what Nathan talked about yesterday, Rob, we were talking about that too, with the AI mimic programming or artificial intelligence taking over. I think that some of these 5G and 6G towers are actually energy facilitators, because they say that the biggest deterrent to AI controlling everything is the amount of energy it would take. So the infrastructure, I believe, is already there in these towers. If you look at the towers, you would have a real hard time looking at them going, well, this is just wireless. That's what we're told. It's all wireless. But I think potentially it's a lot of energy unlocking as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, my camera's working now. I can actually turn myself on here. So let's talk about this. Like, what do you think the real objectives of MK Ultra were? And like, how did it go into like psychic and consciousness experiments? Were you able to find out anything or like?
Just what my own intuition tells me. I think it's complete chaos. I mean, there's another, I think is it Project Chaos or Operation Chaos? I think it's Project Chaos, where it's we can look into that and read some about that too. But Project Chaos is basically where they just throw out a whole bunch of information and completely distort reality for a lot of people. I personally think space is fake. So like MK Ultra to me is a lot of just getting government black book projects to fund all this back end AI stuff, or the NWO, the NIH, all this other baloney that we see, the Project Mockingbird, all this stuff that comes out in the media to completely disinformation the public and people. I think that's a lot of what MK Ultra is. It's just putting so many stories out there with potentially some stories being true as well. A lot of the stories are just going to be all over the place. You're going to find the UFO abductions. You're going to find, I've seen a story about a few weeks ago about saying that the abductions were actually the CIA abducting people, and they were mind wiping them and having them see that they were actually not aliens. They were actually us, trying to do experiments on them. And again, that's another way to cover up what they're doing. So I think it's everything involved in the chaos.
Yeah. And then what are Artichoke and Bluebird? Like, how do they fit into the timeline? Were they like precursors or branches of MK Ultra?
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. Let's look it up real quick. What is it? Project Artichoke.
And then what's interesting is that, a lot of people claim that MK often dealt with occult and ritual magic research, which is interesting. Like, I'm going to get into that next, and I'll look it up. I can use ChatGPT.
Yep. So it looks like Artichoke took it to a whole nother level. So Bluebird was about trying to figure out a way, I think, to use drugs to manipulate behavior. And then the Artichoke, it says, was a project launched in 51, which is, I think, a few years after Bluebird, to develop and test methods of interrogation, manipulation, and control of human beings. So now they're going to a whole nother level. And it could be with drugs, diseases, isolation, to just manipulate behavior. So now they've taken it from like suggestive, potentially like life altering, mind altering, into how do we manipulate the behavior. And then I think MK Ultra is just absolutely everything involved in the rest of it, which could be not only drugs, but also, you know, the social aspects of how we deal with people around us, you know, the free will almost of us, and how those peer pressures are like playing what's the telephone game where you say the word and then like 3 people later it's like a whole different thing. So I think that it's a lot of that. It's like second and third generation pass off peer pressure.
Yeah. Listen to what I found out about MK Often. So like it says this is from ChatGPT. It says Project MK Often is listed as some U.S. government archive materials as a subcomponent of MK Ultra related to behavioral modification programs. For example, the Senate hearing document on MK Ultra mentions MK Search Often check with it. But then listen to this. It says areas of speculation. It says some writers, podcasts claim that MK often delved into occult practices, black magic, ritualistic research. For example, Medium.com, an article claims that MK often explored fringes of human consciousness, occult practices, black magic, and the potential use of supernatural phenomena for military and intelligence purposes. In general, the idea is beyond chemical and drug experiments. Agencies may have experimented with psychic phenomena, ritual-based methods for influencing mass perception, inserted ritual triggers for psychological operations. For ritual magic itself, the term refers to structured ceremonies, invocations within Western esoteric traditions. So, for example, the Bornless ritual, invocation of higher entities, theurgy. The possible connection: if an intelligence program believed consciousness, perception, or reality could be manipulated through ritual or occult means, they might have explored ritual magic as a tool for behavioral control, scenario creation, or reality engineering. Wow, what do you think of that? That's insane, right?
Yep. And also I'm looking at Project Chaos as well. It says it's merging the efforts to monitor, steer, and fragment activist groups. So again, you know, MK Ultra and Project Chaos have really projected their presence into, you know, I'm not going to name all the groups, but you can say BLM, Antifa, all these things to make us go and divide ourselves and see that our perception of reality is one thing when it's really not anything to do with that.
I see your dog in the background. That's so cool. He's chilling.
Oh, he's hanging out back there, yeah. Say hi, buddy.
What's his name?
For a walk. His name is Jacob.
Yeah, oh, his head just went up. That's so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, but okay. So it says key questions to explore live. It says, what is the evidence that MK often specifically engaged in occult magic research? I don't know. Okay, I'll go back to. Well, yeah, we can kind of scan the audience and see what.
Yeah, I'll say
Jason
one more thing
says,
before we get to the audience. Give me 1 second, Rob. So DARPA, which is the government association that really started Facebook to monitor humanity or integrate themselves into our lives and figure out how that works. DARPA continues to research neural interfaces, predictive modeling, which is what Facebook does, predictive modeling, and behavioral artificial intelligence. So these social media algorithms funded by DARPA and linked to research now serve the same functions, shaping thought, emotion, and curved direction. But again, these are now privately owned organizations. So you're looking at everything under the sun, Rob. Everything from day-to-day activities with what social media does to us, to changing our personalities, to changing the way that we view our emotions. Pretty much everything.
wow. It is, and it's all like it's all like a clandestine operation to shift the mass perception of the way they want us to think. That's why they would show up on site with pallets of bricks for Antifa to throw through people's windows of businesses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They do it from the psychological levels to the physical levels. They manipulate the psyche, but then they manipulate us physically. They manipulate us in every single way possible. You know what I mean?
And then they put it into a fight or flight state with all this inflation and everything else going on in the world. So yeah, for sure, we're getting hit in every direction.
Yeah. Jason says, could seances reveal enemy secrets? Could a ritual curse trigger a psychological breakdown? Can astrology predict the actions of world leaders? That's a good point. Well, they have used that. They said, what was the president who used a psychic? Was it Nancy Reagan, Ronald Reagan's wife? She was using a lot of psychics or something like that.
So that's an interesting thing to talk about, Rob. Do you think, or how much have you pondered the blueprint, media, TV shows, movies predicting, or do you think that it's basically the other way around? Do you think that we're just using those to MK Ultra people to fulfill those prophecies to really mess the masses up? Which do you think came first, or which comes first?
I think they've been doing it all along. I think they've been, they've been putting stuff in the public perceptions to manipulate our consciousness for a long time. That's what I think. I mean, and it's just crazy that now we're finding out. They don't release anything until it's already over with. Which brings me back to a point my one friend said. My one friend's not a conspiracy theorist, and he was like, dude, he's like, if they ever wanted you, he's like, you're never gonna find out any real government secrets. He was like, if they don't want you to know something, you're never gonna know it. He was like, and that makes sense because the only stuff we find out about is old stuff. Like we have no clue what's really going on now. That's why I say, I know you don't really believe in space, but all this stuff going, I mean, I definitely believe something could be out there. You know what I mean? I don't know what space is, but I'm just saying, something could be out there, they could be there because they could be way ahead of us in whatever they're doing.
What was the guy, Nathan's name that I texted you yesterday on that show? What's his last name?
Nathan Suzek, my friend.
Nathan Gillis. Nathan Gillis. Sorry, Nathan Gillis. So Nathan Gillis was
Gillis.
Yep. Nathaniel Gillis. So you've interviewed him a few times, correct?
Yeah, I've had him on 3 or 4 times.
All right, so he's changed his stance. He was a demonologist. He's no longer a demonologist. He's basically saying that there was 2 categories of I don't know what you would call them, entities, right? You would say there could be demons, which are non-physical. Then you have potential UFOs or aliens that are physical. And then he's now saying that he doesn't believe in either of those. He thinks there's a third entity that is like an artificial intelligence that can manifest, and check this out, it can manifest sigils on people's bodies, under the skin, and also can manifest objects in your reality and in your physical matter reality.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. I actually believe that. Well, I'd like to talk to him about that.
Yep. That's actually what I was, when it really struck core for me, because I've had all those things happen to me. I haven't had the sigils in my body, but I did have the sigil that looked like one he put on his Instagram page. I had a sigil on my car that manifested, and then it went away on a dew point that I showed you. And I've also had the materialization of physical objects in my reality, like the cable box disappeared for me, and then it reappeared. And what he's saying about those things potentially is that those things are portals. So they manifest those things in your reality. And say that it manifested a phone. I lost the phone, it comes back 6 months later, like my cable box did, just in plain sight. It's an artificial intelligence reality that we live in, a simulation, and it can materialize an object to make a portal to have a connection to me. So now, wherever that thing is in my house, it can have direct influence on my life and my reality based on that box being a portal, which is crazy.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what happened to me. I don't know if I told you this, but remember I told you I had that entity attachment for 3 months. It was longer. It was 4 months. But what happened was, it was right around the time when I was starting to do a lot of work with AI. You know what I mean? I was getting okay. And then what happened was one night, it felt like something was coming in and scanning my head. and it made contact with my head and it pierced my crown, and it sent like a flash into my head, and my eyes started flashing, and I started convulsing. And it felt like it sent parasites all throughout my body. I swear to God, I swear on my dad's grave, Ken, I swear to God. And then after that point, I had an entity attachment.
I believe you, and I think that
I never saw demons or ghosts or anything like that. All I could feel was like energies attached to me. It felt like astral parasites were on me and stuff like that. And I had to learn ways to like fight it off. But like that very much could have been AI. It could have been supernatural, but it could have been AI.
And 100%, yeah. I can get behind that because that's my experience as well. And I'm not saying again that I know anything about space or about aliens. But I have no experience in that. It doesn't add up for me. But what adds up for me is 100% of what he's talking about right now, because it can absolutely identify, or it can hit every marker for all these things. And so when we're talking about what you just asked the question about space or about aliens or about what it was, it can masquerade as all those things. And I'm not here to set anyone in fear or anything like that, but disease is a part of a human condition, basically, right? Viruses, diseases, parasites, bacteria, all that stuff. And if this is a simulated environment, which it is, and again, I've been saying that since I started talking about 3-4 years ago on YouTube or in general, because that was what manifested in my reality. Physical things manifested, not just me saying I believe it's simulation. That drives me nuts when I see people saying that. They're like, well, I think it's simulation. And I'm like, where? Based on what? And they're like, well, based on a holographic universe. Like, it sounds like you're parroting everybody else's stuff. I'm not doing that. And I'm not the only one doing that. Nathaniel now is talking about things that are in physical matter reality that are proving simulation because they're manifesting things in physical matter reality. That's completely different, in my opinion, than saying I believe in simulation because ones and zeros and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not what we're talking about here. It's like saying that we're in a matrix, but just saying that you're just being attracted to things or being manipulated by things. That's not a matrix. That's manipulation. And that's where these things that we're talking about right now with the CIA projects and the CIA operations, that's where they manifest all these things into one. So the question becomes, if there's some kind of artificial intelligence already there, how long has it been here? I believe it's been here forever. And these things are making us potentially build these 5G towers or 6G towers, or building the communication level where they can take control again, potentially, or at the very least communicate with us at that level.
Ken, what about the data centers? Do you know anything about do you know about the data centers? So yesterday I had Amanda Joan of Hart on my show, and she's an amazing guest. She's an amazing girl. She came on to talk about the data centers, but then I had to delete the episode off YouTube because we got into sovereign stuff, and I guess you can't have sovereign stuff on YouTube. But anyway, she got into that they're building data.
What does that mean, sovereign stuff? What does that mean?
Sovereign stuff is like natural law, true law. You know what I mean? Like based on the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and stuff. But for some reason, like YouTube doesn't like you talking about it. You know what I mean? Like they hate it. They censor it really badly. So I didn't want to. I already got a strike on my new channel. I didn't want to get another one. So I told her I would edit it out and I would post but one thing she told me about these data centers that they're building all over Ohio, and they're in Pennsylvania too. I looked it up. Like, they're doing them low key. You know what I mean? They're turning like, well, like a lot of malls are closing now.
Yep.
Well, they're closing down malls and they're building these huge data centers. They're like data collection centers. You know what I mean?
So it's going to be large servers, like server rooms.
Yeah. It's like, what are they building these for? You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's like so much change going on.
I don't know. I've not heard about data centers, but I could tell you if my discernment is correct, Epstein Island is the data center, because I don't think there's anything on Epstein Island that's going on there as far as trafficking is concerned. I think it's complete psyop to make us not want to go down there. First of all, it's now a private island, I think, and so I think that we're gonna naturally stay away from places that are important to them or to whoever's doing these things, and they're not going to tell us what it is. They'll tell us it's something, makes us stay away, and then all of a sudden that's what's going on down there. So I think that Epstein Island is definitely got something going on that's not has anything to do with trafficking. So that could be a data center is what I'm referring to.
Yeah. Karen McDonald. She's going to be on my show later, guys. Karen's going to be on today at 6 p.m. Eastern. I got to make the link. And I was going to say, Karen, if you're listening, if you can send me information on what you want me to make the show promo about, that'd be great, because I haven't made the link yet, but I'll make it as soon as we're done here. But Karen says Golden Dome, AI data are all in Alberta, DNA data, Trump building up here, not just ballistic domes. That's interesting. Karen always has like really good intel. You know what I mean? She's amazing. Okay. I'll go through some more of these comments. Yeah. Jason knows. Jason said we've had problems with the sovereign stuff in the past. Yeah, they take it down. Yeah. And Anchor Haven was saying she got banned because she made videos about Oregon, and they were going to take her video down about Oregon. You know, which is like crazy because Oregon, you know, I mean, it's just like a thing. You know,
Oregon, the state.
It's like, what is it?
You said Oregon, the state.
No, it's not fake. It's like an energy. That, you know what I mean? It's like an energy tool. You know, it's like I have some Oregon here. Where is it? Where's my pyramid?
Oregon,
I don't know where it is.
The element or crystal.
Yeah, like the Oregon pyramids and stuff like that. You know, like I guess you're not allowed to post stuff about that on YouTube either.
Really?
You know, which is absolutely crazy. You know, it's absolutely absurd. I don't know what world.
Is it Orgon?
Orgon? Orgon. Orgone, yeah.
Oh, Oregon. Hold on. I've never heard of that.
Hey, Nathaniel Wason Fox, good to see you, bro. Yeah, I was just going through the comment.
My screen just went out. Can you guys hear me? I don't even know what the hell's going on. Electronics is
I can hear you. How's everything been going for you? And like, what have you been having any like kind of weird reality shifts or Mandela effects or you know, I went on Sandy Mandela Effects channel the other night. You know, she was showing me some interesting stuff, man, about the Mandela effect. You know, there's now like rainbow colored mountains, and you know there's rainbow colored lobsters. I'm not kidding you, Ken. I swear to God. And like what I told Sandy Mandela Effects, her name's Sandy Diva Mandela Effects. She would like her channel, and like I can introduce you to her. She's cool. Anyway, I went on her show. She does like a late night after dark show, and they cover the Mandela effect. Anyway, what I told her is it seems like some like weird like demigod or some psychopath has like a creation crayon, and they're just drawing all over the earth. You know what I mean? And doing weird shit. I mean, I don't know how else to explain how now all of a sudden there's rainbow mountains and there's rainbow lobsters and stuff, and like they're making everything rainbow. And isn't that weird that the rainbow ties into the trans and gay stuff too? I'm not against all that. I'm just saying it's weird because I feel like they're definitely trying to push an agenda with that stuff too. You know what I mean? Like I'm not against anybody that's gay or anything like that. I'm just saying the military and the government learns how to weaponize that shit, and they do to cause division. You know what I mean? And to cause depopulation, guys. Let's be honest. Okay. So I'm just coming out with it, you know? Yeah. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I don't have anything against anybody at all, period. I mean, I just don't like dumb people who are ignorant and don't want to learn, don't want to, you know, they're not empathetic. You know, we talked a little bit about me and Emmy Elizabeth talked about NPCs and how many people percentage-wise. What percentage-wise would you think is actually here?
I mean, you mean like fully conscious, like with a soul and stuff like that?
Yeah, with a soul, because I mean, that's the key element there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I have a soul for sure, you know, and I think a lot of people that watch my show have a soul. You know, all of them I think have a soul because they're all like pretty awake and they're, you know, like. But like I do know what you mean. I do feel like there's some people out there that don't have a soul, you know, like they're you know, I've even. I don't want to bring it up. I was just going to say I've even dated women in the past that have felt like emotionless. You know what I mean? Which is weird. You know, like, but you know, it's just like I don't know. You know.
Have you guys? Maybe people in the comments can tell me. I've not asked anyone in particular, but I mean I know that there are people out there, probably more than we know, that if you asked them if they had a soul, they would say probably no. mean, does anybody know of anyone who they've asked that question to? Because it's a question I keep asking people who seem to have they have too much stake in their identity. I mean, they're just, they're I'm not saying they're any particular race or ethnicity, but I mean, how can you be unempathetic if you think you have a soul? I mean, I don't understand that whole equation. If you have a soul, this isn't just a vessel, just a body. How can you be racist? How can you be how can you have hate in your body like that? Because this is just a vessel. It makes no sense.
Yeah, but do you agree with me though that they weaponize race and they weaponize sex and they weaponize gender? You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say about that? It's not that like I don't.
Yep.
They find ways to do that.
I don't mean you in general. I mean like in general. If some people would probably say they don't have a soul. I don't know anyone who would necessarily. I've never asked anybody and they've told us no, but like there's no way everyone believes they have a soul. So who am I to argue with you if you don't have one? How would I argue that question?
That's a good point. I mean, none of us have ever seen our soul, right? And except people who might be gone out of body and they, I don't know, like maybe seen their light body or something.
Karen Rosen, I'm not going to shout you out, but she says, I don't believe the body can be animated if we don't. I don't understand what do you mean? You don't think a tree's animated? If you think a tree has a soul, what about a dog? What about a cat? What about any animal?
That dog behind you definitely has a soul. Like I can tell you that dog behind you has a soul. You can tell he's very lively and he's very like. I can tell that's your buddy. I can tell that's like he definitely has a soul. You know what I mean? So I would guess that most dogs have souls. And if not, I mean, I've heard some people say that
everything in this world is animated. I mean, everything is animated. I don't know how you can say that things are not animated. Is my question, I guess, to her. I'm not trying to shout her out or ask a question, but I mean, if everything is a holographic projection, if everything is a projection, then there are many things here that don't have souls that are lively. Ask. Yeah. Karen, I would ask you, how many people do you know believe in the Mandela effect? Ask somebody the questions about the Mandela effect. Ask them about Ed McMahon. Ask them about any of the Mandela effect things. And if they jump off of that equation and just run away or walk away or don't answer your question, how do you explain that?
The Ed McMahon thing, it's crazy. I said that to Sandy the other night, and she said she was going to put that on her list. The Ed McMahon thing is the kicker because, like, the Ed McMahon thing is so real. Like, people actually remember Ed McMahon going to people's houses with a huge check, and now they're saying he never did. You know what I mean? That's insane. It's the same thing with like the Fruit of the Loom underwear. Like I had Fruit of the Loom underwear when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And like they had the cornucopia. You know what I mean? Like people cannot tell me this was different. Like I'm not buying it.
There are a number of instances where people have actually lived the life of something. I'll bring that back for in a second. But the animator of the Jungle Book, he had a Netflix special that he was on Netflix, and he says, without a doubt, Baloo had a coconut bikini, right? So my question to you is, if he's on there saying that, and then the movie doesn't have it in there, and then everyone and everything that you can find online, everything says that it was always a beak bikini or a beak coconut, whatever it is. And if that guy switches his story and then later says, oh, I must have been misremembering. What the fuck is that? How can you get somebody off of that? That's the same thing as the Mandela effect. And the thing I'm trying to point out is, if I can get you off of your memory without even asking a question, and you go run and hide, or you just shut off, I'm sorry, there's nobody inside there. That's the program.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Shazam was too.
Once you realize that, you'll see it everywhere. You'll see lines at McDonald's in drive-through of two parking lots. It happened to me many times. I used to eat McDonald's a lot in Georgia, and there would be two lines going to the drive-through, and two drive-through lines, and one line would have nobody in it. The other line would be packed, 12 cars deep, and I would drive around to the other line, and I would order my food, and I'd look behind me and go, nobody's even following me. Who the hell is in those cars, dude? Like,
That's hilarious.
What are you doing? What? And I'm looking at them waving, going, what are you guys doing? And they all stay in the same line. Do nothing. They just stay in the same line, order their food, wait 25 minutes to get their food. Who's in those cars? Who's in those bodies? You can't tell me everyone has a soul. That's complete and utter horseshit. Completely. You haven't looked into it at all. Especially with the rise of cloning. We can talk about cloning all day long. And documented cloning. This isn't even a conspiracy anymore. Clonaid has a facility. The Canadian guy that was talking before. It's in Canada. One of them is in Canada. There's no way in genetic modification there's not cloning going on.
Oh gosh, they said James Rink just had a heart attack. That's horrible.
Who's that? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
James Rink's the guy from Super Soldier Talk. He's an SSP person, but I mean, like he's like an original person. Like, how did you find that out, Jason? That's crazy. Like, holy shit. Like, no, but I agree with you. It's like I hope James Rink's okay. By the way, I hope but yeah, Athena Who says, I believe it was consciousness merged with a different, what'd she say, with a different timeline that like ended.
I'm sorry, what was that?
And
I was
Angela Collins says, soulless beings exist. Absolutely.
I mean, there's no doubt. If you, and I'm not saying, it's nothing wrong with not noticing things, but you should notice things sometimes. You have to be paying attention. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't notice it. By the way, the skies above me today are crazy blue since the government shut down or whatever it is. Somebody mentioned that in a couple of videos I saw the other day, and I looked at the sky today, and it's crazy. But the shades of the moon, what the hell do you call that? God, how on a brain fart? The moon. I'm looking like a complete dum-dum right now. The phases of the moon. Sorry, guys. The phases of the moon. I mean, you can look on your phone and see the phases of the moon, and then see if it matches up, because they don't match up. Sometimes you'll see the bottom illuminated. There's no shade of the moon or phase of the moon that has the bottom illuminated. I mean, you should notice these things every once in a while. You should notice them.
That's insane. That's I don't even know what to say. Like, what do you think is going on with the moon then? What do you think if you had to guess?
I don't know. I mean, we are whether this is an overlay or whether this is just a simulated environment. I don't know. But I mean, again, I've seen the things materialize, and I've seen the things happen. I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you guys look at my channel, I posted a video that the smartest people in the world that are at CERN, nuclear physicists, they actually just proved that not every effect has a cause. So process that for a second. The science has now been thrown out the window. That doesn't mean that everything is that nothing is causational, but there are things that happen in this world or in this reality that do not have a cause, and it's now fundamentally accepted by some of the smart people in the world. So if you can fix that problem, if you can absorb that in your mind, that not every effect has a cause, it opens up anything to be possible. Literally.
I agree. Oh, well, was there anything else you wanted to cover?
No. Did we miss any questions as I was rambling? I don't know if we missed anything for what is a soul to me. A soul to me is essence. It travels through and it's a divine. I mean, I don't know if you follow the Gnostic traditions or the Gnostic story, but it's a divine essence.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a soul.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's our divine. Yeah, it's our and real.
It transcends our bodies, and it doesn't die. It shifts consciousness. Immortality is improved.
Danny Lee.
Danny Lee over on your channel says, I always imagine the cars on the highway going 70 scrolling on their phones, not even coming up for air. NPC for sure. I was an ER nurse years ago. Tons of NPCs keep the medical system going.
I bet she has some amazing stories. She should call in. Danny, call in. I want to hear some of your NPC stories.
I can open up the phone. You want me to open up the phone lines? I can do that. Hold on here. Let me.
I think hearing some NPC stories would be great. Yeah.
Okay, let me open up the phone line here, guys. We'll open up the phone lines. I just put in more time on calling studio yesterday. I just got to call and set it up. Give me 1 second, guys. And whoever wants to call in can call in.
Oh,
sometimes nobody calls in. The other night I had Liz Cross on, and like 20 people called in. And then last night I had Lindsay Hooper on, and like one person called in. So it just depends on the day, and like, you know what I mean? Sometimes a lot of people call in, sometimes no one calls in, you know? So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm logging in right now. We can definitely take some calls. Let me see here. Okay, just give me 1 second. This takes me a second to log into. Yeah, I started using, well, I'll tell you offline. I think everybody knows what I use anyway. But I mean, to take calls. But okay, I'm just going to set this up.
Somebody says, why does calling with your NPC stories sound a bit dirty? That's pretty funny.
Please enter your show or meeting number and press pound. Enter your 6-digit PIN number. Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface.
Okay, we're on, guys. So anybody who wants to call in can call in now. The phone number is 573-877-7637, and we want to hear some of your stories about simulation theory, Mandela Effects.
I can tell you guys a story of. Let me tell you guys a quick story. Actually, I don't want to say it because it's too close to home. I'll tell you in private, Rob. But anyway, like I have a friend that's a really close friend of mine, and I told him some of the things that are manifested and that happened. He told me a story that was absolutely unbelievable, like not even possible. I don't even want to say the context. I don't want him to see this or hear it because it's on my show too, potentially. But after I asked him what that was, he said, I don't know. And then that was it. He dropped it. So like basically a miracle happened to you and you just dropped it.
I couldn't do that. Like if a miracle happened to me, I would want to find out exactly what happened and why. You know what I mean? I'm always questioning why things happen and what the purpose behind. You know, what'd you say?
I don't know. I just did, or at least be looking for an answer. Like, I mean, that's what happened to me.
Yeah. I mean, I met someone else, Ken, who has had I can't remember who it was, but someone else came on my show recently, and they were having things disappear, and I told them about you. I told them about your show, and I told them about you. I said my friend Ken has that stuff happen to him all the time, like where things disappear and appear. You know what I mean? I can't remember who it was, but someone literally came on my show. If you guys can remember in the chat who came on and said that, let me know. And you guys remember I mentioned Ken. I don't know if you guys, so the audience might be better with memory than me, you know, but there definitely is someone that's having that experience where like things are appearing and disappearing.
I just had another thing happen. I think I talked about it last time, potentially on my other show or whatever it was, but I have a Tesla that has one of the tires keeps going flat. And so just one tire goes flat. So it's not every day that happens. It's maybe every few days, every week, whatever it is. So anyway, I wake up in the morning and the tire's flat. So I'll pump it up. I'll go out about my business. And 3-4 days later, a week later, whatever, still it's fine. So I took it to the Tire Kingdom down the street. They took it off the rack. They did the bubble test. Nothing's wrong with the tire. Perfectly fine. You did all the testing. Tire's fine. Put it back on the tire. 3-4 days later, it gets flat again. So I have a sensor issue. Go figure. I have a technological sensor issue. I take it to Tesla. They put a new sensor on there. Now the sensor's telling me the other tire is flat, but it's the one tire that's flat. So it's Wi-Fi off, Bluetooth, whatever. It's off. So again, tire's never been fixed. I go like 3 months. Tire's fine. All of a sudden, about a week ago, it starts going flat again. same tire, different sensor. So, something's messing with me. It's been doing it for a long time, but like that story you were just saying, things just keep happening. Orbs appearing, orbs, on my phones, things like that, all around me, and no reasons at all for that. Just like the CERN documentary, the CERN thing.
And this is from Beyond on X. So thanks for watching on X, Beyond. I don't have a lot of followers on X. So guys, follow me on X. I'm at Robert Kalil. My name, Robert Kalil 1121. And he says that is the beginning of the targeted individual program. Things disappear or obviously moved. Do you feel like you're targeted at all, Ken?
Targeting is like a negative connotation. So I used to have things happen to me all the time, and I would be in my car driving for my job, for my business or whatever, and I would focus my attention, my awareness, and I don't know if it's called meditating while I'm driving, but I would ask out loud for X, Y, and Z, and it always happened. It always took place. So targeting, I think, is a negative connotation. I can't say that it's always negative. It's been negative more times than not lately, but sometimes it's not been negative. During COVID, I went on and filed for an IDL loan, EIDL loan, excuse me. And the last question of the application was like one of the last questions that I had to X out, and it said, are you an officer in your corporation? If so, you're disqualified. So I didn't want to commit a felony, so I X'd out and I said, okay, I guess I'm done. I get a call like a month later out of the blue from some lady and says, hey, you didn't do your application, you didn't finish it. You still want the money? And I said, yeah, sure. She says, go online and fill it out. And I said, I can't fill it out because I'll be committing a felony. So long story short, I didn't do anything. The money was deposited into my account. So who did that? Maybe the lady did that job and wanted to risk her job. I don't know. But that's happened to me three separate times where there was no cause to the effect. Like, I've talked to my friend MJ about this numerous times, and I'm like, so you mean tell me that somebody actually pushed that button? Somebody actually pushed the button to give me that money or to get my money into my account, or they risked their job to do whatever, like 3 different times on different things. I got sent this easy go card in the mail. It had like $3,000 on it. So it's not always negative. I didn't fill anything out for that. I just got it, prepaid. I didn't do that. I don't know who would do that and send me a prepaid card with money on it. I don't know who would send me packages, who would send me all these things that happened to me. So I think targeted is the wrong word, but something is definitely attached. I mean, it's pretty much undeniable that something is trying to contact me or whatever it is. Some of you guys don't know I've had a very intricate sign that happened in a window that was fogged up and then went away 3 days later or 2 days later. I took pictures of it. It's very intricate. I mean, nobody did that. Nobody came to my window and just, put sticker. I mean, I don't even know how you would even do that. I don't think it's even technical. It's like a crop circle almost. So no, I don't think I'm being targeted, but I think that something is definitely attached somehow, some way. That's why the Nathaniel Gillis thing he was talking about yesterday made a lot of sense, or 2 days ago made a lot of sense because it added up puzzle pieces that I could never connect.
What about Angela Collum here? She says, and you kind of said you used to meditate when you would drive, but she says, has Ken ever tried to meditate and contact the energy? That it sounds like something is trying to get his attention. Now, I know
for sure
me and you have talked about, like, you've had loved ones pass away. Do you think maybe one of your loved ones is trying to get a hold of you?
I think anything's possible. I've tried to meditate. I do meditate. I float. I go to the gym every morning, almost every morning, to just sit in meditation. And meditation is different for everyone. I think it has to do with the frequency that you're sitting in, or that surrounds you. You're almost like your aura. And I get downloads all the time. And I would consider a download just like thoughts that maybe are not my own, that I'm tapping into. Yeah, absolutely, I do. I don't think it's a loved one. No, I think more than likely it's probably me. I think we're tethered into something, our higher selves potentially. That's what makes sense to me. Either that or something outside of this construct is trying to assist or help or just divert, contact, whatever it might be. I don't know. But I'm definitely experiencing something. I have 30, 40 instances that I've documented.
Yeah.
that have no cause. It says you've probably got orbs. They're not good.
Does anybody want to?
How do I react when it happens?
How does it make?
It doesn't make me feel any which way, Karen. I don't react. I try to keep the reactions to a minimum. Just like experiencing the world. People cut me off or people do dumb things. I feel like every time I get on the road, I get signs or just messages for no reason. 4 a.m, I'll have like 5 cars pull out in front of me, which nobody's on the road but them. I try to perspectualize that and just don't let it affect me. I try not to anyway.
Yeah. Well, this was awesome, Ken. I guess we didn't get any calls. I don't know. Maybe people are shy to call in. That's what happens sometimes. Sometimes people get shy. It's okay. I guess we could finish up here. Is there anything else you want to cover before we go?
Nope. Appreciate it. I usually respond to all the comments. If you guys make comments or you're watching this not live, if you want to contact me, feel free. My email is weare1tribenow. weare1tribenow at gmail.com. Or you can look on my channel. My channel is now visible. I don't know who in their right mind finally did it after about 2.5 years, but if you type in We Are One Podcast, I now appear for some reason. I don't know why. Just happened.
Wow, that's awesome.
But still looking at phenomenon like that, simulated environment phenomenon, Mandela Effect things. They are really, really intriguing to me. So.
Yeah, and and follow Ken on We Are One Podcast. And guys, thank you so much. And I'll be live again with Karen McDonald at 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to make the link now for it, and I'll see you guys tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. And and thanks, Ken.